what is a press release? In a very basic level, press release is some kind of announcement that your company is doing or sending out and distributing to mass, right? In a mass distribution to news sites or newsrooms, news sites, newspapers, whatever. And so you really are making this kind of newsworthy announcement about your company. And depending upon what it is that you're doing, I mean, it can be very specific, like you're announcing, hey, LeadSnap just grew 42%, or LeadSnap responsible for 42% growth on average of their client base lead generation and close, or revenue growth, or something like that, right? So you're like, wow, this is really awesome. Yeah. I got to get this word out. So that's
I've got an idea for one. Randy, the news guy, says LeadSnap's his favorite software.
I'm right. Yes. So that's what you're doing, right? So you're creating this announcement, like the example with the LeadSnap is a great, like, wow, yes. But you can do press releases. And from an SEO standpoint, a press release is great because you're going to get, like, we'll distribute out to hundreds of news sites. I mean, and these are, and you have to think about this as well. Google looks at news sites completely different than any other website. AP News, Yahoo, Globe News, Benzinga, all of these news sites. You know, I will distribute out a story and it's going to go the same story on each one of those sites. And people are like, well, that's just duplicate content. That's going to suck. It's going to like kill you somehow. But Google looks at news sites completely differently. They understand news sites are writing the same kind of concept or theme, and as well, they're distributing press releases from companies or company information that all different news sites are doing. So they don't look at content on news sites as duplicate content. They don't penalize the content. They don't care. A couple of years ago, I think in one of the algorithm updates, you know, it was really like, oh, you know, these authority sites, you know, it was, you know, people were going to get penalized if you were kind of piggybacking, so to speak, on an authority site that had nothing to do with your content or something like that. But then when they were announcing that, and if you look into Google's, I forget, terms of or whatever, policy definitions or whatever, they specifically even state, this does not include press releases and news sites. I mean, they specifically even call it out. This does not include news sites and news publications. So, you know, press releases, very solid way to get hundreds of referring domains for your website, drive a massive brand impression for your product, for your brand, your service, and get great, well, I said referring domains, but you're getting great backlinks from all of these sites. So AP News, as an example, I mean, I think that domain of that site is like a 90 or 92. Why wouldn't you want as many of those links as you possibly can coming to your site, right? So, yeah, press release, talk about your company, talk about a service, a brand, and expand your digital footprint, expand your brand authority. That's really some massive value, I think, with the PR.
Yeah, absolutely. So how could somebody determine the quality of the press release that they're getting? Because there's you have yours and there's other ones out there, and like, how would a SEO and marketing agency make a good choice when they're trying to select a service?
That's a good question, actually. And I think, and to be frank and really transparent, there are now, I don't want to say hundreds, but there's a fair amount of competition for press releases now. I mean, we have our newsroom, we distribute it out. You know, you've got a lot of different options that you could send press releases out with now. And people ask me this all the time. Why you? Why should I do the news guy instead of somebody else? And it kind of goes to the same question that you're asking. Like, what should you look for in determining whether you got a quality newsroom and provider for you? And I think it comes down to a few things. First of all, think about distribution. Us and probably 95% of all of the other newsrooms, we all probably have close, this is a rough estimate, but if you sit and you compare my distribution list against, competitor XYZ, we're probably like 85% the same, if not even more. So it really does come down to, well, what's the added value, right? Because if I send a PR out to AP News and the other guy's sending a PR out to AP News, does it really matter who's sending it out? What's the difference? You're going to get the link from Associated Press. So some of the differences, though, or what I should say, things that you should look for in a good quality provider for a press release and services and such. One, certainly look for distribution. You want a good depth of distribution field. And then the other, though, is what's included in the service. And I lead that to say about writing. So you can certainly come to us with your own article is fine. And we'll, we review it just to be sure the content will pass, we and all of publishers even kind of take Google decency guidelines as the yardstick for whether they'll accept it. So we have to, we review it and I'll say, hey, Patrick, you can come to the table with your own story. I still have to review it, or my team, to ensure that it's going to meet the guidelines, because, if it doesn't, we're going to have to push back on you and you got to change this or change something. But we also, though, provide writing services in our press releases. Press releases, I think, is an art in writing a good article. It is a nuance. Some things are very basic, PR's got a certain structure to it. But depending upon what your objective is for that press release, are you looking for national attention? Are you looking, are you a local business and want local visibility and expand and use that press release to expand your local ranking and visibility within, Cleveland, Ohio? Is that what you're trying to do? Is it an e-com site? Is an affiliate site, right? So depending upon what your objective is, well, my team, we've spent a lot of time, a lot of years, a lot of training on writing an effective press release specifically for your objective. So I think writing is very critical. There's some places that are like, we'll just, AI is out there now. We can just craft an article on AI, and some people send us stuff. And I will tell you, I can both visually, I can tell, well, that's an AI written article, and both as well from a distribution standpoint or a performance standpoint, AI generated stuff and press releases for right now, and not anything about a penalization or anything like that, but they just don't get the same level of distribution, nor do they get the same kind of results from a traffic standpoint or an engagement standpoint, because they're generally just not as attention-grabbing, engaged piece of content is all. And again, back depending upon your objective, you really want to, like if it's a local business, we really want to drive how we're writing content so that it's maximizing relevancy and visibility for that local business in their local community. So we talk about, hey, it's the Cleveland plumber. So we talk about Cleveland. We talk about Shaker Heights. We talk about, Parma. We talk about different communities within that article, that press release article. We may even throw out a few points of interest, right? So to say this piece of content, Randy's Plumbing in Cleveland, is about plumbing in Cleveland. And it helps drive effectiveness from a local search standpoint. You work in GMB ranking, right? I'm still old school. Me and Brian Cato are like GMB for life. I cannot get to GBP just naturally.
Oh, I know. Yeah,
flow out of my mind. I just can't. Blah, blah, blah. PR can help drive that kind of visibility with that, but I think it all starts with writing. And so we have a writing team And separate from the writing team, then I have a team of editors. They take it. I've heavily invested in their training from an SEO and writing standpoint for a PR. And so they optimize it from that standpoint. And then we send it off to the draft for the client to review. So I think writing is one of those things. You want to like evaluate. What's the writing like? Do they write it? What's their process for writing? I think is important. The other thing then, like what to look at is reporting itself and how you get a report. We've invested quite a bit on the reporting side of it. And so we give you a web-based link so you can go and you can just pull it up anytime very easily. But on that website page that we give you as well, you can also download a PDF version. And that PDF is formatted so that all of the links on that PDF are live links. And
it makes it easy to go check on them and make sure.
Easy to go check on them, certainly. And especially because, as I said, we do so much client work, our agencies or SEOs. And so they're doing this on behalf of their clients, that it's a great report that they can just download and send to their client, that PDF version, right? So it makes it a very easy kind of thing. And you can white label all of this so it looks like it's coming from Patrick at LeadSnap. Boom. Here's your PR. But all of those links are live links. And then you can also download an Excel file. So whatever format you want. But I think that reporting is real important because you want to be sure that you're getting, different variations to make your life easier, which now I think is on the back end, which is what does the assets that you get and what does the provider, meaning like us, the PR provider, what do they do after the reports are out or after the press release? So some folks don't do anything. Other folks do some things like we do, which is we take your reports and then we build additional kind of tier 2 links to those news site links. We do it automatically.
That's a tier 2 link.
So tier 1 would be that link from AP News as an example. So tier 1 is your link from AP News. That tier 1 link is pointing to your money site link, right? So
your website, your website you're trying to rank. Right.
Exactly. So you got tier 1 is that AP News link. So tier 2 and tier 3 and as deep as you want to go are all essentially pointing up. But tier 2 is pointing up to tier 1 to power that up, to push more power up to your website or your money site. It also helps from an indexation standpoint because at the end of the day as well, you want to try to be sure that you're getting as many of those sites indexed. Now, 99% of all news sites are going to get crawled, meaning that the Google robot is going to come and crawl the site, crawl the page, and give you validation and credit for, hey, Randy's Plumbing is on AP News and you're going to get all the juice from that. So that's great. And that's what you want. But index means the difference between crawl and index is that index is, it's going to show up on search. So if I do a search for Randy's Plumbing, am I going to see, how many of those news sites kind of pop up in search? So we'd like to try to get as many of those indexed as possible.